special episode for me. This channel has just hit 1,000 subscribers. At the time of recording, I think we are on 1,010 subscribers. So that's where I want to start off. I want to thank everyone who's already subscribed. And if you aren't, this is the best time to join. A lot of ideas, a lot of stuff that I want to do. And it's so encouraging for me that you guys are engaging and you're subscribing. And yeah, thank you so much. If you haven't, please consider subscribing. Anyway, it is Talking Buccaneers with me, Fumane. After Orlando Pirates wins that first leg of the MTN8 Semi-Final against Stellenbosch. And I mean, like if you would have watched my preview of this game, I did say to expect. I also expected a tough game, which it was. In all frankness, I think if we're very honest as a fan base and as the football community is, Stellenbosch is no pushover. They really aren't. They are quite a tough team to play against. And make no mistake about it, they're going to give us a game at Orlando Stadium. I think we have put ourselves in the best situation to go back home with these 2 goals, obviously, away. And having just one of their centre-backs, a very good centre-backs, Moloisane, getting sent off. So obviously missing that next game at Orlando Stadium. I think what we have done is we have set up this game the best way it can be set up, let alone the goals and all of that we've got an away goal advantage and stuff. But what you want to do when you play against Stellenbosch is you want them to be on the front foot, because one of the things that we are great at, and you saw this in this game against Stellenbosch around the 20th minute, that we are really deadly at counter-attacks. We didn't make many entries into their half, but when we did it with great speed and great countering. And that's what we want. We want teams that are going to give us that space behind them, because that's just a weapon of ours that we cannot deny. I think one of the huge positives that I saw in this game, and I'm going to get into it a little bit with the little time that I have, Eskom is about to do a number on me very soon. So I'm going to try to fly past this, but give you as much quality as I can in terms of my analysis. But one of the things I was so impressed about in this particular game was to be able to see us, breaking down a team that had decided to camp in its box. So obviously they get a red card in the 30th minute, around that mark, if I'm not mistaken, which is so massive for us. But at the back of my head, I'm thinking, do I really want it to be do I really want them to have a red card? Yes, I do. But I know that we tend to struggle against low blocks and teams that sit and protect their goal. So maybe it's going to be tougher than I expect. So I thought maybe it might end 0-0. They score against the run of play with a corner. One of the things I forgot to mention, but I had in my notes in my match preview of this game, was we've got to be careful with the heights that Torre and Moloisane not so much, but he's quite good in the air. But Torre, you saw it, the way that he scored. I think the keeper could have done better there, but yeah, that's just one of the things. They get that goal against the run of play, and I really saw this ending as a 0-0. But massive congratulations to us, because soon as they get a red card, they were set up in a 4-4-1 kind of shape, and where they had 8 players behind the ball and then 1 player up front. So they were leaving Reyners up front, because obviously that was the plan, to launch it to him so he can, catch us on the counter with speed. And had 8 players behind the ball. And then, in that first 10, I wrote in my match notes that Stellenbosch will love how this is going, because we cannot make any progressions through the center. What they'd allowed us to do was to play around them. Like I thought in my preview, one of the things that I thought was going to happen was they're going to pin someone on Ndlondlo and Munari, but mostly Ndlondlo, because he's the one that becomes that deep lying playmaker for us, that pivot that gets the ball from defense to the next phase of attack. And they did that in this game. They were pinning Adams on him, so they're playing a bit of a 4-4-2 shape before they get a red card. When they were defending in a 4-4-2 shape. They had Adams and De Jong, the big man, up front, and then they had a 4 kind of being that next line, and then the next line of a 4. And yeah, we were struggling to progress through the center, and what we're kind of doing was kind of going wide, had to play back to the keeper and have him play the ball long. And we know that's one of the struggles that our keeper has. Please don't mind me if I keep checking the time. It's because I want to see how much time I got left, and I have 9 minutes to wrap this before load shedding. So we were kind of going around them, struggling to penetrate through the center. And yeah, their coach will have loved that how the game was unfolding. They were spending a lot of time in our half. This was for around, well, I wrote the notes in my notes around the first 10 minutes, but it went on for around 30 minutes until they get a red card. Obviously the game changes then, where we had an extra man, an advantage, and they had to drop Adams into centre back, which is surprising for me. Someone who was playing as a number 10 then went to go play as a centre back, but maybe that's credit to his versatility. And yeah, massive shout out before I go anyway to Mthethwa, who I already spoke so much about in the preview. Just how, he makes, like how people would say this about N'Golo Kante. He's one of those players that makes it seem like they've got 3 people in midfield, but it's really just 2. They had 2 people in central midfield, which was, I think Nduli, they were playing with Nduli and Mthethwa in central midfield, but it seemed like they had 3 people because he's just everywhere. He chases everyone, he gets the ball, he's good at breaking up play, he's good at reading the game, but he's also good at distributing it and making them play. And I think I just wanted to make a mention of him. Massive shout out to him, but he's one of the reasons why we're struggling for those first 30 minutes. And then they get a red card. Muloisani gets sent off. They drop a man from up front. So now, obviously, they're not pressing us in a 2. They're pressing us in a 1. There's more time and space now for Ndlondlo to find those positions from deep and help us progress the ball through the center. And so we do that, but not too much effect, because the other thing, I tried to get some screenshots from the game, but I struggled because it's hard to screenshot from the DSTV app, and rightfully so. But yeah, I thought I'd get some screenshots for you to show in this review of Adams following Ndlondlo and Mthethwa following Maswanganyi in that first half. And Maswanganyi admitted it himself when he got awarded the man of the match after the game, that he had a tough first half, and I think it's because of the shape of Stellenbosch that really just marked us so much in that center, and we're going around using the width, but we couldn't penetrate. So we start to get the space later in the second half, but they score against the run of play. Come back in the second half. I think what's fantastic is that we also change our shape. I think we're a bit more conservative in the first half, but in the second half, what we've done is we used Mako really out wide going forward, and then Shandu out right going forward, and then we only left Sibisi and Koki as the 2, but they also joined the attack and come into the half of Stellenbosch because they were leaving 1 man up front. And so our centre backs really pushed up, joining the attack in the half of Stellenbosch. And then, so Mako left, Shandu right, really wide. And then in the box, 3 players, Hoto, who was the left wing, was in the box. Lepasa was also in the box. And then you had Saleng also in the box in that right channel, right inside channel, but 3 of them in the box. And then outside the box, we had Tito, Ndlondlo, and Munari as the ones who were trying to create from outside the box. And I thought that's how we obviously create the chances, how we scored. You will have seen the highlights with, getting crosses into the box. But someone maybe needs to start tracking how much I'm going to say that Tito is such a fantastic, wonderful, clever footballer on this podcast, because I really can't stress that enough. He's amazing on the ball. He's lovely to watch. He's very silky and, skillful and things like that. But also just one of the other things that I see about him in this game, he's really good at picking up spaces. And I did a video, again, someone needs to track how many times I say that. I did a video, personal analysis on Tito Maswanganyi and what he brings to Orlando Pirates, which will be linked somewhere up here. But he's such a wonderful player in terms of detecting spaces where to hurt the opposition. So he'd usually just peel off he'd go and almost pin, you know, the defense of Stellenbosch as if he's going into the box, and then peel off and receive a pass, and then play those crosses that we saw as a free man. So he'd always just find space where it'd be free and then play across into the box. And that's how we scored both our goals. The first of which was Lipasa, who's on red hot form and is riding that wave of his form. And it's fantastic for me to see how he's finding spaces in that box and becoming that deadly man for us. I've got 4 minutes left. Becoming that deadly man for us. And yeah, the second goal comes through Otto, who I had a bit of a question mark why we started with him. But obviously because he scored, the coach will justify that. But he got eventually moved back to left back, Otto. But our left back was playing high up on the left. So what really had happened is Otto got shifted to the left, and then he introduced Erasmus to get into the box because we were kind of hunting for that second goal after we got the first. So Erasmus was in the box, and then he pulled Monari, whom I'll do an episode on very shortly. Just dedicated episode on Monari. Very interesting takes that I think I have, and you know, perspectives and things that I want to say about that. So look out for that. Possibly this week. It's Monday at the time of recording, so this week. And yeah, he pulled Monari and introduced Relebogile Mofokeng for the creativity outside the box, because outside the box we had Ndlondlo, like I already mentioned, Ndlondlo, Tito, and Monari. So he pulled Monari and introduced Mofokeng to be more creative around that space. And overall, I think great situation to have ourselves in going into the second leg. Like I already mentioned, you know, going to Orlando Stadium, having Stellenbosch to have to come out. By no means this is not going to be an easy one, but it's obviously the best position that we'd like to be in going into the second leg. I see this as halftime. You know, the first half has passed. We are 2-1 up in the first half. The second half is to come. Stellenbosch have to score 2. They have to. They have no choice but to score 2, and that's what we want. And so we have to control the game. But I'll do a preview on that in due time. But as for now, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Please keep engaging. Please keep watching. Please share the word as well. I appreciate all of it. Up the mighty Bucks. Cheers. Listen, hit that subscribe button. Do it right now. I demand it. And I thank you for it, for your compliance.